Hello, everyone, and welcome to GSA. Today, we will have another any percent tournament race between Acrid031 and Source. Both of them will be in their first round of this tournament. And today, I'm commentating together with T-Joker. T-Joker, what's up?
Yeah,
How are you feeling today?
pretty good day.
Pretty good day, pretty
Excited
good
to see
race.
this. Excited to see this race.
I think it's going to be a close one, too. And we actually do have both of the runners with us here for a short pre-race interview. And I'm just going to start with Source here. Source, I know you've been off for a couple days, but I know that you have, before that, you've definitely been keeping the practice up. How do you feel about today's matchup?
I mean, I didn't really get much practicing today. I've been not playing, which I really should have been working on practice. But I mean, I think I should do okay. I might even PB because my PB sucks at the moment. So yeah, should be fine.
I can see that one happening pretty easily. Anything in particular you are like scared or like super safe about? Is there anything new you added, or is there something that's always in your mind basically right now in terms of the route, like any particular trick?
Well, I didn't manage to get to mech today during practice, so that's going to be kind of scary to do once I get to it, but it should be okay.
Yeah, muscle memory comes into play there too, so sometimes you can just rely on that. But yeah, heading over to Acrid. I know, Acrid, you have been doing a lot of practice and movement improvements, but haven't been really running much because you actually couldn't really do it currently. But still, how do you feel about today's race?
I don't know. I hope it goes well. I've been practicing a lot. Practicing has been going decently fine, I guess. We've been trying to reroute stuff in different kingdoms, and it's going decently well, I guess. But I haven't been doing a lot of runs because I don't have a monitor working right now, and I'm kind of not feeling like running without the second monitor. But aside from that, I'm feeling like decently well. I've been practicing mid game, which I have a lot of problems with.
Yeah, pretty reoccurring thing that people need to improve their mid game. But yeah, definitely have. I'm trusting in both of you guys to do well. I think it's going to be an exciting one. So from our side, I think we are good to go. So you can just leave the call. You will be counted down, and I wish both of you best of luck.
Thank you.
And off they go. Okay, so now that they actually gun, we can actually pick our favorites here, T. So who do you see winning this
Well,
one?
I watch a lot of Odyssey runners, and Acrid has like really cool looking movement. No one really has a similar style to him. It confuses me a lot. And
That's so true.
Source is like consistent at the strats he does, but they aren't the hardest strats or top end strats. So
That's probably the perfect way to put it. I couldn't have said it better myself, but I didn't even think about it, but that's completely true if you would summarize them. Source is pretty much the player that goes for consistent strats and plays super consistent. If he PBs, he usually is like less than a minute away from his SOB easily. And Acrid's movement style is insanely unique. Like the way he moves is pretty much different than anyone else. He is very mechanically, like his mechanics are pretty sick if you just look at mechanics of gameplay. So that's why I think it's going to be an interesting one. Acrid is going to go all out, and Source is definitely going to come in with a lot of consistency. But yeah, right off the bat with Cap Kingdom, we might see some differences in terms of gameplay. I'm pretty sure Acrid usually goes for the left side cap tower approach, while Source goes once again for the safe strat going on the right side, which is way easier to be optimal with. So definitely cannot blame him, especially in a race.
yeah, it would cap like all top runners normally go for the hardest strats you can do. Where it saves like very little amount of time, but it's at the very start, so it's kind of worth it.
Yeah, especially if you're doing attempts, I guess. You want to start off on a good note, and you want to basically go for everything. You don't have much to lose. You're at least in attempts. You're not yet committed, so you can just go for crazy stuff. And especially this next room is something where we might see little variants. Acrid just starting over the roll and a small water jump. So it's pretty much doing exactly the same, which is both pretty optimal. Only difference is that Acrid did a spin throw there, which is slightly better, but it's like in a frame or 2-frame difference.
Yeah. It's both looking pretty clean so far for both runners.
Difference is gonna come in now as Acrid approaches his left side climb here. Got a pretty good triple. I think this is looking great. Gets it nicely. And so it's just rolling up the right side, which he gets actually some additional coins, which is super nice. Also pretty clean roll cancel, so definitely also very good cap from Source.
So Acrid went for the harder topper fight there. He seemed to dive in the wrong direction, which didn't allow him to do it, but still got the slight lead.
Exactly. Source did not get the fast hit on top of Topper there, which is kind of hard to time. You'll see pretty much any runner on any level still make that mistake. It's super easy to make. Topper gets very annoying when he actually goes back into his phase where he zooms around with the different heads, but he recovers from it decently well. I do know that Source just recently added the FMS jump, the first moon skip, which is pretty much a big race killer. So we'll see how this one goes for both of them. Acrid will definitely go for it. Source will also definitely go for it, but you can just have a lot of trouble with it. So let's see how it goes for Acrid here.
Yeah, they both. Yeah, that was really clean. With the spin pound, which is a bit faster than what Source most of will do. By him not getting it for the back.
He's a bit far away from the rock. Usually you want to be a bit closer to line up Cappy there in the specific spot.
Yeah.
This one looks good.
Okay. Yep. Just yeah.
His cap throw was a bit early, but he does a rainbow spin there to gain some additional height, because what you do in FMS actually is you do a very high jump to go over an invisible wall, which actually tries to block you. This is why we do the specific setup on top of the rock.
So now on the map of Rudal 5, there are very little changes here, where if you stand in the right place, you can just move the controller, which is slightly faster, where you can shake it, which gives you more distance, but is a tiny bit slower.
Both of them actually went for the fast straight where you just pull back the control stick. You need to capture the change-up a little bit earlier to make that happen. If you shake, there's like a little animation where the change-up gets locked in. But both of them having a clean boss fight here.
Yeah.
Acrid having a very good pace so far. Actually, no mistakes at the moment.
Yeah, it's a very clean cascade. I wonder if he's gonna go for a chest clip. He's pretty consistent normally, Acrid.
Usually goes for that one. We'll see probably another small difference there, as this clip is also a pretty recent one that we do right now. Acrid not opting for the spin pound there, which is only faster if you do it optimally, so cannot blame him. Getting the spin pound here and probably heading towards his chest to try to clip through the ceiling here.
So
Looks like he gets it, I think.
Yep, got it. So it saves a bit of time, but I don't think Source will be going for it.
It saves optimally. I guess it can save up to... It's hard to tell what the strat saves, because obviously there's one optimal version of this one, and there's another optimal version of just jumping out of the alcove, which we'll see what version Source does here. Actually, that looked like he clipped out of bounds.
That was weird.
But I think that was used, like people used to know that that's possible to kind of clip out of bounds with that moon, but you can only really clip through the ceiling if you do the moon clip where you throw Cappy behind you. But definitely having a pretty clean cascade for his own there, other than the struggles on first moon skip at the start.
The sun coming up now. It's a pretty long kingdom, and you're gonna see some strat variance between the two runners. Most notably, probably Dram and Sphinx Clip, which I don't think Source goes for Sphinx Clip.
Yep, both of them very high level strats and come with super high risk. I mean, Sphinx Clip comes with a very nice reward. If you get consistent at Sphinx Clip, pretty much everyone adds it because it can yield you like a 10-second time save. But Dram on the other side, if you miss Dram, you lose like 12 seconds or something really ridiculous. While, I mean, if you also drop the bullet bill, then you can lose up to 12 seconds, while it only saves like 2.5. So really want to... Oh, wow. Acrid said that before, that his spin points in this room are ridiculous, and that spin point there wasn't really ridiculous.
Yeah, so with Snake's Clip, you have like two main variations, single and double clip. Single clip is around 3 seconds faster, I think. Not 100% sure. I mean,
Yeah,
double clip.
it depends on what you compare to. I think Source is gonna just talk to the swings and get the bird at the end of sand, which is quote unquote the slowest approach, but at the same time, and I'm really stunned by Acrid right now. He's not making any mistakes, and he goes for ridiculous strats like the side flip there. His spin pounds are absolutely insane. I haven't seen him run in a long time, but right now he's really showing some ridiculous level of gameplay.
Yeah, he's coming up dram. We'll see if he gets it.
That looks good.
Yeah, he got it. And he's choosing to do notes, which Source won't be doing. Saves 2 seconds optimally instead of doing the crates moon.
Yep. And usually Acrid was actually one of the first people that got a very good clips of nodes. We used to even estimate this time save. And he is usually pretty good at nodes. Once again, so far, Acrid has not made a single visible mistake for me.
No. Here's coming up Sync's Clip.
Yeah, which is going to be a big one. First
Wow.
try. What is this run?
Yeah, this is a pretty good stuff, Acrid. And
oh
Source
no,
bonk,
Source
yeah.
unfortunately taking the bonk there. So he needs to climb back up and get the next bullet bill, which loses a bit of time.
Yeah, and see now he'll be going for the crates moon, which Acrid didn't get. So in return, Acrid has to get an extra moon, which will be notes.
Yeah, Acrid's pace right now is completely ridiculous. We'll see what it is at the end of sand. But once again, still haven't seen a mistake so far. Source on the other side, also on a pretty solid run still. I mean, this one mistake in sand is obviously unfortunate, but nothing too big. And definitely still on solid pace. He's going to be talking to the swings to gain the extra coins.
Yeah, Acrid doing Jaxi skip now. It's not the hardest trick, but for beginner runners is a bit more difficult. And seems to be all good. Yeah. And now we see Source talking to the sinks, which Acrid skipped with the clip.
I'm scared of Acrid right now. He's playing ridiculous. He also what he did there, this is something that many people might not notice, but he actually did a spin throw roll cancel there to save like super tiny amount of time. It's a crazy what kind of inputs you need to do to get exactly that. You need to like move your controller, roll cancel at the same time. First tiny mistake there for Acrid missing that moon.
So Source now going for a moon Acrid did get, he just got it out of bounds.
Yep.
Which I think this means can he get the bird now, Source? I don't think he can.
Wait, what happened on Source's screen?
He went into the underground.
Oh, you can get that, yeah. You can get the bird.
Okay.
If you don't make a mistake. So Acrid is maybe going to be looking close to a 0% world record at the moment. This is looking to be a 10-14 sand split, which is pretty crazy. It's not a 0% world record. I think like the best we've ever seen is like a 10-12, but it's like 2 seconds behind, if I'm not mistaken. Let me actually check. One of the best runs I've seen in the recent time coming out of sand. Wait, it's 10-2, but yeah, but it's
10-2.
Oh, okay, but it's banner split, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I shouldn't be that much confused, but yeah, it's 0% split's a bit different. We haven't paid attention on what Acrid's banner split there actually was, but this run is still very good, no matter how far it was away from like a 0% world record. And 0%, by the way, is just play the game until you're done with sand. It's basically a meme category, but yeah.
Just Source finishing it up this sand, just getting the last 2 moons, and is gonna walk back to Odyssey. Acrid going on to Lake now. It's kind of like Cap. People do really hard strats because it's all the shorter kingdoms and very close to the start. So, have to see what he does here.
Yep. Source, on the other hand, also looking at the Samurai right now, definitely not at the most shabby of paces. If we compare both of them to their PBs, they are still both easily on PB pace still. And usually this is one of the hardest parts of the game. You see most of the resets happen here. I mean, now that we have the new wooded route, that's obviously something that can go wrong. But the first 3 kingdoms especially are very reset heavy in runs.
Yeah, I'm pretty scared for Acrid because in practice today I was watching, his nut clip wasn't going too well, and that might slow down his advantage.
Yeah.
Just get some catch. I don't. A source won't even be going for that strat. So. Yeah.
Acrid heading into Topper fight.
Rango fight.
Rango fight. I mean, it's one of the bunnies. They're just all toppers. Now, all of them wear hats, I guess. But Topper, Rango being actually, when you learn the speed game, in my opinion, one of the harder boss fights to learn, because he not only annoys you just from his looks, but it's also quite weird to get the timing down. But if you actually take damage to him, he does like this weird animation that just makes you angry.
I think at the start he's one of the hardest, but by the end he's probably one of the
once
easiest.
you get the timing down.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any advanced strats like Topper does.
That's true. You can take Topper to another level. That's true. Also, Spewart, if you think about it,
Yeah.
Rango is really the only bunny we haven't found a ridiculous strat where you can start the fight off with like a spin pound. And we've said the term spin pound so much, I actually want to explain it one more time. The usual ground pound that Mario does is kind of slow because Mario does this ground pound animation in the air, which loses like half a second. So you can spin your stick twice and then ground pound instantly without an animation. If you do it well, you can do it in basically 4 frames. Like from the animation you start the spin to the actual spin pound roll boost. It's an advanced strat and you can do it at the start of the Rango fight, but not really seen currently. The best theoretical time sheet has that strat, but not really seen in runs.
I just want to say, like, and while Mario's doing action, if you start spinning or get two spins during that time, it will actually buffer it, and when you finish the action, you'll be spinning. So Source finish showing up Lake here, and Acrid just going on to Wooded. So here he's gonna be buying his first moon out of the route currently doing. Buy 2 moons during it.
And that's why we do need 200 coins during. Actually, we saw Acrid do one of those spin pounds there after this moon. We do need 200 coins over the entire run to buy those 2 moons. Acrid is definitely good to go. He picked up a lot of coins in the Sphinx room. And just to show you guys what a spin pound really is, you've seen it all the time, but he's going to be doing one of them here again. So he was able to buffer the 2 spins during the You Got a Moon cutscene. So he could do the instant spin pound there.
Yeah, it looks really technical, but it isn't that difficult. And here, Acrid's going for Knuckle. I think he got it.
Yep, looks good.
Yep. So now he's going to be able to get a moon, which Source will not be getting. We'll see if he can get the outbound. So, yep.
Very fast from him there, not much hesitation.
Yeah.
Slows down a little bit. Let's see if he can make it back up, and I think this looks good. He's out of the scary part already. Once again, Acrid's run right now is absolutely crazy, actually.
This is really... Oh! Nice. Oh! He bunks there. He did a rainbow spin. When he meant to wall jump, he was pretty unlucky.
He almost saved that too.
Yeah. So now Source is going on to Wooded and starting again. And you'll see the variation in his strat. There are a moon that he'll be getting earlier. I don't know if Acrid does pipes in his route. You know that?
I'm pretty sure he's gonna do it because he practiced it earlier. And Source is gonna be going into a sewer subroom section early and then still fight the boss. But Acrid is gonna be able to skip the boss at the end and gain access to that sewer section later and then warp out of it. So he's gonna be saving time in multiple occasions. Also, once again, going for ridiculous strats like this roll cancel there. A lot of top runners have been adding it, but it's very scary.
So you got hit by the piranha there, which is pretty unlucky. Now he's taking damage, which will lose him a bit of time when he grabs this moon. And if you look at Source's screen now, this is the variation. He goes for this lever instead and captures this uproot.
One thing that you've been mentioning about Acrid earlier, and it showed there pretty well again, his general movement is very good, and in this case he shows that he's also one of the best players when it comes to backups. Usually you are supposed to do like a triple jump up there to get on top of this nut to break it with a with a ground pound and then an instant bonk against the wall to collect the moon. He didn't get the triple, but he had a very quick backup for it.
Yeah, Source going into pipes. Going into pipes earlier than Acrid will be. He'll do it at the end. He's in it like midway through. Acrid got a pretty clean, just like numb mood now.
So is avoiding any damage in the pipe, which is very hard to learn at the start. It's a very specific timing to go through this pipe section without any punishment.
Yeah, it's
so it's
very, very difficult for new players. So Acrid's about to go up to the boss area, but he is going to skip it, most likely.
I assume so.
And go do the pipes, which Source just did.
So the strategy he's about to do is actually one he came with up with himself, where he does like a cap return jump there. Tried to get the instant spin pound, but didn't get it immediately. Also gonna be jumping on top of this mech right there, which is something funny you can do. It doesn't really save time, but definitely strat you can go for.
Ooh.
Oh, trying to bonk to get to the moon, unfortunately falling down, so losing a bit of time.
So now he's going to be doing pipes right now. While Source is going to be getting the Piranha Moon, the story moon. And I don't think he does Flower Road skip. There's something we didn't mention, but you remember what Acrid did here?
We just recently found out that this Flower Road skip actually usually doesn't really save much time. It only really saves time if you do it optimally, and then it can save up to 2 seconds. But it is really hard to play it super optimal. We see what version Source goes for. He's just opting to go for the Flower Road, and we've recently just looked into this. And if you don't do the hardest version of the Flower Road skip, it's probably not a bad choice to just do what Source did there. Can definitely respect that. But yeah, Acrid looking to have a pretty solid wooded exit here.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was getting a bit of lag on my end. But Acrid did get a pretty clean pipes, and now Source is going up to the boss area, and he will be fighting the boss, because he doesn't have the option Acrid did.
I think Acrid is pretty much tied with his PB currently, which his PB is still a top 10 times, so he's definitely on a very good run.
Yeah, he's very, very good place.
Having some mistakes here in wooded, one of them missing ramp, which is very punishing because you fall down all the way. It loses you probably at least like 10 seconds. Maybe 8 if you recover super quickly, but most likely something like 10.
So now Source is going on to the spear fight, which I would say is the easiest for like beginners to learn.
Yeah,
sure.
Probably. So I was opting for some faster strats there with the throw behind Spearwood and then backflip on top of him. I would have liked to see him to pick up some more coins here. He's probably still good to go, but if he takes a death in Lost now, which is not uncommon to see, he's going to be pretty short on coins, so he might need to go to Seaside first, which is not a big deal, but you need to think about it, and if you forget it, you can be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Acrid right now is doing some pretty advanced Bowser Cloud Kingdom shots. I think he's doing the manip, and he's skipping sectors by capturing the hats early.
He actually went for this. This is insane. So actually, we haven't. It probably doesn't really save time, but it's a strat that Xbox, XD Xbox Yaya recently posted on Twitter. You can spin jump with the Bowser head there to do some very fast hits. They look super fast. They might just be as fast as optimal shaking, but it does look pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So Acrid now in Lost. He's gonna skip the Klepto trigger by doing some pretty advanced movement.
Oh no!
His cap got eaten, I guess.
How did it even happen? That was super weird.
Yeah.
He just did a normal long jump, but his cap dive somehow didn't go through. Super unfortunate stuff. Because this one was really, really good. It's definitely still on very solid pace.
Yeah. And now, so it's going on to the Bowser fight. He won't be doing it as advanced strats when fights him. But
He's
he
just
will
going for the safe version where you pick up the set here and then run up to Bowser.
It still skips the cycles that Acrid did, just not as optimal.
The thing is, Bowser would usually jump 3 times and send out these little flame waves, but Source is still skipping those flame waves with his strat there.
So Acrid now just hit the Klepto trigger, or kill Klepto trigger, activate him, which now means he can walk around freely without Klepto annoying him, like you normally would at the start of the level.
So it's actually opting to go for the optimal strat there on the last cycle. The last cycle makes it a bit easier for you to get this fast head, because you can basically damage boost. You can just take intentional damage on the head and then backflip into the head hitbox. And Acrid going for a safer strat there to gain. I think he was kind of unsure what he was going to do right there. You can decide to either do a spin pound on top there, to go and grab the moon under the bridge.
Yeah,
but this is not the worst of backups. You can just make it to this bridge moon from here.
I think he meant to spin pound and then press the button, and because I think he didn't ground pound in time, it just did a dive, which sucks. But he's gonna be leaving lost when Sources just kind of entered.
He did definitely lose a lot of coins during this. He's still gonna be probably fine because Metro has a lot of coins you just automatically like pick up as you go. Source's coin count is what worries me a bit more, so he's definitely gonna be forced to get as many coins on the way possible, and hopefully like you can actually get the moon under the bridge without dying, which is also a bit faster, a bit more optimal. Is probably the preferred way for him here, because his coin count is pretty low and he does need those 100 coins when entering snow. Or basically like 90 at least, because there's 10 backup coins you can get. But yeah, Acrid heading into Night Metro, another part of the game where his movement pretty much is pretty unparalleled for most of the part. He does some unique stuff in this kingdom. Let's see if he actually decides to do this in the race. But I know some of his strats, especially at the early part of this, are basically his own.
So he's coming up the first screenshot. See if he remembers it.
Yep.
And didn't seem to get it.
Yep. Unfortunately, not getting the first screenshot right there. Also falling down while attempting the Goomba jump. He is trying to do like a very optimal backup there. Let's see if he can get it on the second attempt.
He tried to jump off the Goomba's head to get a bit of height, but he was a bit too low, so he just hit the Goomba and fell.
So the next capture is going to be coming up in the day part of Metro. It's going to be in pretty much at the end of day Metro. So hopefully he can get that. And there's also a backup capture he can later get in Luncheon to make up for the one he just missed.
Yeah, Source is about to enter Metro. And Acrid's doing some pretty cool movement to get up there. It's kind of hard to learn as a beginner, but it doesn't really change too much when you get better at the game. There aren't too many variations.
The camera is really what messes with you there, so you want to be aware that the camera tries to basically force you into another angle, but once you can control that, you'll be good to go. So Source is also going to be coming up at the first capture here. Let's hope that he thinks about taking that snapshot.
Yeah. It's Acrid's now on the wiggle fight, which sometimes can be a bit annoying. One of the only places where RNG is, it doesn't really affect the run too much. You don't lose like time really, if any, small amount. And I didn't actually, I missed that. Did he got the capture?
Source got the capture on his part, yep. So I'm pretty sure we'll let Acrid know as he's racing that he still needs to get those additional 3 captures, otherwise he's going to be taking a strike, which he probably tries to avoid. But yeah, pretty clean Wiggler fight, pretty fast 2 cycle for Acrid, so that's good on him.
So now he's gonna be going to day metro, where there are like 3 main routes. There's one where you involve getting the story moons at the end, one where you get them midway through the run, and another route which no one does. It's basically segmented only strats, where you go into a sub room, which is really difficult to maneuver in.
It's optimally super quick, but RTA, I mean, it's possible, but it's not the biggest reward for an insanely high risk. I'm definitely going to be looking at Source here, trying to get his 2 cycle on his own, because missing this 2 cycle is huge, and it loses a lot of time as Acrid starts his journey through the day metro.
So here he's put the cap in a particular spot, so then after he grabs the moon, he can just instantly walk back there. It's pretty optimal. And now he's going to be doing the scooter club, which can be a bit finicky. Oh, and misses it there. He can frag at it, and he gets it.
Fast backup. With this scooter, he probably still save time over the RC strat, especially with the optimization that he does right there, because he already bonked there. He just backflips off of the cage. That's actually pretty cool.
That was some interesting movement he did after he got the moon. I've actually never seen that.
That's what you optimally do when you do the RC car, actually. So was getting his 2 cycle there, nice.
Yeah, with the scoot club, you really have to hold your controller side, like actually sideways. It's very weird. So now Source going on to day metro, where I think he's doing late musicians route, while Acrid is doing early.
Yep, and you'll see Acrid go out of the skirter here immediately again and capture one of those little pylons here to flick himself towards Pauline, which he needs to talk to start basically the quest with the musicians, and he's going to be warping out of the last sub-room here. We'll see if Source goes for the same route, if he... there's another version of it where you need to do less intense movement, but you lose like 1 or 2 seconds, depending on how you do it. And once again, going to the live-proof screen captures, basically when you collect the moon in this game, animation is going to play. For example, Source is going to be picking up this moon here in the girder, and there's this "you got a moon" animation. And during this, we pick some random moons where the runners need to press the screen capture button, which shows up on the top left corner, so that we basically can tell, okay, they're actually live right now. And so it's going to be taking the RC car route here, which is optimally done only like 5 seconds slower than an Optimus scoot clip. So no, not too big of a deal. But yeah, Acrid being done with the musicians now, gonna be getting some moons on the top side of Metro, the higher part.
Yeah, I seem to be getting some like with that. So when Source gets the moon in the girder, he should be warping out there instead of rolling out like Acrid is. The movement for it, it's all the same moons. It's kind of easier movement, but you lose around 2 seconds if optimal.
And I'm gonna be having a chance to potentially explain the live proof verification method one more time. So when you pick up a moon in this game, this "you got a moon" animation basically plays. And during this, there's no inputs you really need to do on your controller. So you can just press the screen capture button on your controller. And when you do that, a little message shows up on the top left corner, which basically tells us that the runner is actually live playing this game, because we randomize the moons they need to take this capture on before every match. And one of them is going to be coming up on Acrid's screen right now. Hopefully he's aware of it, so he hopefully can take this screen capture during the next moon animation.
Yeah. So he didn't get the screen capture.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, he told us before that he has been having some
Yeah.
issue. Oh, he just pressed the capture button there. I'm not sure if he just realized that he forgot it again. But yeah, right now he is going to be taking a strike. So there's another backup moon he can get to avoid further strikes. But hopefully Source is going to be taking the screen capture of this one.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yes,
unfortunate
yes,
example
yes.
to show this off, but I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
Source, he took the first capture and he takes... Wait, am I being confused?
No, he missed the capture though.
Okay, this is pretty much the worst time to show this mechanic of... Because...
So Acrid going to Snow instead of Seaside first because he has the right amount of coins. I'm pretty sure. I didn't get to see before he left, but
So there's three captures that we pick before every match. If you miss one of them, there's one additional backup moon that runners can take a screen capture of. If they basically take 2 of the required ones and get the backup moon, there's not going to be any strikes. But if they forget 2, there's going to be 1 strike, and if they forget 3, there's going to be obviously 3 strikes basically. So I think we said on 5 strikes a runner gets disqualified from the tournament. Hopefully both of them can get the next screen capture in Seaside and maybe also the backup capture in Luncheon. And then we can update you guys on how many strikes there are going to be taken.
so now it might look weird because it might look like Source is really far behind, but he's getting late musicians, so he's at the end of his metro now instead of the middle like Acrid was. And now Acrid's in the Shiv area, and it's at least for me, I think it's pretty kind of a closed place, so you can bog pretty easily at the parts coming up. And the sub rooms, like this kingdom, oh, I missed the captains. This kingdom's really slow, mainly because of the sub rooms are really slow to get the moons in.
Optimally, this kingdom is also super hard. It's one of the kingdoms we've recently just went into to optimize, and I'm pretty sure that Acrid is going for one of the most advanced strat that pretty much no one ever does at the moment.
Yeah,
I know that he usually tries to do it.
He's pretty, I
he
don't
didn't
think
get
he
it.
got that, no.
You can use the moon clip mechanic there that we usually use in Wooded and in Cascade to clip through his wall.
He's actually like the only person really who's I know is consistent at it.
Yeah. It optimally only saves a second, but it's definitely very cool. You can clip through that wall to gain access to the subroom a little quicker.
So now he's in a room where he like there's like cycles to it, and he has to like be at the perfect time to get a triple jump off, so he makes it up. It saves a little bit of time and looks pretty cool. And now Source has just ended Snow, and we'll be talking to Captain Toad. One of the differences that you'll see Source and Acrid. Acrid will be going for a trick called Snowdram, which is a very difficult trick, and we'll be skipping one of the sub rooms. While Source will be doing a sub room instead of Snowdram.
The so-called Snowdram is a trick that is basically a very precise jump. The player Dram55 has nothing to do with it. It's basically just a meme because he doesn't like strats being named after him. And Shaden, the runner who actually basically looked into the setup, thought it was a fun idea to basically name the trick, and it kind of just remained that way. But it is probably, in terms of tight jumps, the hardest jump.
So what Acrid used to do is a roll cancel and a triple jump. When you do a roll cancel and hold an angle, you gain quite a bit of speed. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but after you do this, you have an insane amount of speed while doing a triple jump, and you can cross very large areas with a lot of speed. And now Source should be grabbing one moon and then entering the like snowman room.
So one thing that we did miss, actually, did I miss it? So did he skip the shop?
No.
Wait, he got the shop?
Source?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He brought the shop in.
How does he have so many coins?
Maybe. Oh, he went into the shop and didn't have enough coins and left.
That's what I was about to say. So he definitely was short of coins. So he does. He needs to He needs to get the coins from the sub rooms here and visit the shop one more time, which is a pretty big time loss actually. Let's see if Acrid gets Snowdome on the other side. A lot of things happening at the same time. Gets it though. Very
Yeah.
nice to see, probably hardest jump in the game.
Hardest jump in the current 90% bro, definitely. So I'm not sure what Source is gonna do. He might after the Goomba room buy the moon, then go back to one of the sub rooms and then walk back to Odyssey and be done with Snow. Or he's just okay. He's buying the
shop now and then probably heading to the next sub room area. So he picked up those additional coins in the Taifu or Blowy Joy room. There's many names, and we literally, I think that those enemies are called Taifus, but Blowy Joy kind of prevailed after a tournament race.
So Acrid is going into the seaside. He's like one of the only people I know who does ILs of the kingdom. The start is actually pretty interesting to watch and has some pretty cool movement, but when you capture a fish and you're just doing fish movement, it isn't that interesting.
Acrid going for his own strat right there, also with a side flip that he recently just added, but the roll cancel against the wall to do the cap return jump, which is an increased cap jump you only get when Cappy returns to you, is something that Acrid came up with himself.
And here, so Source now doing the Goomba room. Yeah, so he'll now should be going into another sub room and walking back to Odyssey.
It's probably debatable when we talk about Snowdome that Source is about to skip here that maybe the left side cap jump at the start of cap can be harder. It's just that that left side is very early in the run, and usually the nerves are not that high because there's not much pressure on you to reset. If you miss it, I mean, whatever, you just reset and do the next run and hope it goes better. Snow is later in the run, but you can argue because there's an actual good setup for Snowdome that this left side cap jump can be harder. It's probably personal preference. For me personally, I think left side is actually the harder jump, and there's more to it even. But Snowdome is just harder on your nerves way later in the run and super punishing.
Yeah, I would agree. So, Acrid now picking up the fish. If you press A and B at the same time while controlling the fish, this isn't something the game tells you, but you go a bit faster and do this weird spin. It's not actually an attack. You have to shake the controller to attack. And he seems to be having some pretty clean fish movement. It's very easy to bonk with the fish. It doesn't control the best.
Bonks with Mario are really known. He basically gets stun locked after bonking against the wall, which loses a lot of time, up to 2 seconds. But those fish bonks also easily lose you up to almost a second, let's say 0.8 or something, which adds up because you can fish bonk a lot. And Acrid is going to be coming up at the third capture right now. So hopefully this time he realizes that he needs to press this one button during the 3-second-long moon cutscene.
I'm pretty excited to see what happens if he actually remembers. And yeah, he got that one. So,
legendary player. But basically, this is, at least I can explain one more time, like this is how it's supposed to go. We pick those moons and okay, he actually did take the picture there, so we know he's currently live.
I don't think he got a single bunk with the fish though.
Yeah, clean fish movement.
Yeah. So Source not doing some easier movement at the start than Acrid was doing. And he's getting the exact same moons. Oh, got a ledge grab. So now Source or Acrid will be going to Luncheon, which is it's not Runner's favorite kingdom. I like it. The movement's pretty cool, but it's very easy to kill runs though.
It's my least favorite kingdom, definitely. The thing is, it's a relaxed place. It's like the vacation kind of feeling to it, but it's so easy to bonk. And the moon Source is currently collecting is super deceiving. It looks like a 2D area, but it's actually 3D, obviously, so you can easily miss the moon. You can mess with your perspective. And also the next moon, that both of them, I think, didn't go for the most optimal strat, which where you use a rocket flower trick to refresh the rocket flower duration. Pretty sure so it's not going for it. It's a minimal time step with a very high risk. And Acrid coming up at one of the hardest jumps in this kingdom, sadly missing it.
So he's going for the backup, trying to back it up. So Yeah, slow triple or it can't seem to get it. So he's gonna do the easiest strat. Oh, he can't seem to get up there.
The thing with exactly this wall is when you can use the cap throw to basically stall at the wall. But if you throw Cappy basically at the close frame where Mario is about to grab the wall, the game gets confused and it doesn't know, okay, do I need to play the wall slide animation or do I need to play the cap throw animation? And hence Mario is just losing a little height, drops down, and you won't be able to make the jump. Recovers from it and fights the boss. Refights the boss. Ooh!
Oh, he did that strat. That strat, I think I've only ever seen it once on a club.
From him too.
Yeah, from
like
him.
that's another strat that Acrid came up with himself. It's a spin throw, roll cancel to hit the head quick and hit topper. Very cool looking.
Yeah, it's very flashy. And Source will be coming up to the capture in a second while Acrid grabs the story move.
Wait, this fight might have been in the best theoretical timesheet right there. Pretty clean speared fight for Acrid.
So, did he get the capture? I think he missed it, right?
Almost looked like it. I was glancing over there, but I didn't see Source take the capture. So I hope they're not messing around too much, because also this is the second capture right now. Oh wait, he got it. I got confused with it. I was fully focused. Was fully focused on Acrid's screen because he definitely got a very clean fight right there. Well, if Acrid gets the backup capture in the fork room later this kingdom, he's only going to be taking 1 strike for missing the first 2. And if Source actually got this one, I'm going to make sure and go back to check it one more time. He's going to be getting away without any strikes.
Okay, sorry, I'm experiencing some lag on my end. I don't know. But Luncheon at this part Acrid's at right now, it's like the easy part, quote unquote easy part of Luncheon. And now he'll become the hardest.
Yep. To be honest, this kingdom is pretty much split in different sections. The first one being this jump that can easily mess with you. Source getting it first try, very nice. The boss fight is kind of relaxing, but after the boss fight, the difficulty gets very high.
So Acrid will be. So now he's grab Moon and go into Fork section. Forks is, for the beginner strats, is pretty easy, and then when you get to the more advanced strats, it gets much harder. So you missed the Podaby there.
Yeah, you can kind of manipulate the camera to make a specific cycle there. You can also try to make it without any camera manipulation, which is faster, but not getting the cycle there, so wasting a little time.
Yeah, Acrid doing the most advanced strats in Forks, which Source will not be doing, so you can see what the easiest strats are.
What runners do right there is they dive towards, and Acrid gets the backup capture. Very nice to see. So he's only going to be taking 1 strike from this race, depending on the outcome. But you want to dive towards those forks that Mario captures to decrease the animation it takes for Mario to zip basically to the capture.
So now Acrid going for Turnip Clip, sorry, and it's a pretty. It has some leeway, but it's still a pretty difficult clip, which runners have trouble with.
This looks good though.
Yeah.
Going for the throw, going for the manipulation on the hammer bro and gets a pan bro and gets it first try.
Yeah, that's really
nice.
clean. Yeah, Source will not be doing that strat, even though it is a Virgin exclusive strat and he has access to it. He just chooses not to do it because it loses quite a bit of time if you mess it up a few times.
So I just went back one more time to reconfirm. Source did get his second capture. So if he gets the backup capture in the fork room, he will be totally fine without any strikes. Acrid taking 1 strike from this. It's a new mechanic we recently basically put into this tournament to assure security in terms of this run actually being live. Runners just get used to it, so we won't be as hard on them yet. But yeah, still nice to see that both of them kind of brought it back on track.
Yeah, Acrid going for that movement there is actually kind of difficult. You have to land on a very small surface,
Yeah.
and now be getting the last moon in luncheon and moving on to Rude and
The
Source.
geometry of these rocks right there, where he jumped on, is very weird. You can
Yeah.
easily fall down there. There is a backup that you can do, and Acrid was one of the first people that actually made use of it. But you're taking the time loss no matter what if you miss the jump and take the bonk.
So Source going into Fox now, and you get see some like easier strats to what Acrid was doing. There's a camera manip at the start, which makes the cycle start going faster, which he doesn't do. You have to grab the fast forward to make it work there.
Yeah, the only thing that is different here is basically Source is not diving towards the capture, so this
Yeah.
animation is going to be a tiny bit longer, but it only loses you like a second. So that your dives need to be optimal to save the second there. Source getting the backup capture, very nice. No strikes for Source here. That's what I want to see. And Acrid is going to be heading up into the auto scroller of the run, which is Ruined Kingdom. It's only one big boss fight. You can't really speed it up. So is sadly missing the Podoboo jump there. You want to jump on a specific slope to make that happen.
Yeah, so now he won't be going for a ton of club, which is what Acrid did. It saved him a bit of time because he got a first try. So he will be capturing. I'm not actually sure what they're called.
Pan Bros, I think.
Hammer.
It's basically Hammer Bros with pans.
Okay, and he'll be destroying it and doing it the intended way.
It's really, really hard actually to save time with turnip flip. You want to have a good setup and basically want to get it first try. If you don't, it's just still faster to break the cheese. The thing with the cheese is you go out of the way from the lever, and then this cutscene breaks where the cage around the moon breaks. And if you do an optimal turnip flip, you'll save time over that, but definitely not easy.
So.
Oh wow, I could actually taking damage twice.
Oh.
That's very scary because if you take damage twice, you can die in this fight. And when you die in this fight, you'll start all over again and take a really big time loss.
Yeah, die in this fight. You can't. There's not much you can do. There isn't much to talk about Rude. It's quite an easy kingdom. The only reason people really die normally is because they kind of stop thinking about it. And now Source not doing the hard jumps that Acrid did on the weird geometry wall. And is ending that luncheon now. Gonna be
Yep,
really soon.
only has to sit through the multi-moon cutscene. Acrid once again taking unintentional damage. I hope he stops messing around too much. There's still a heart he can pick up, so he should be fine. You don't want to be, especially on the last phase, you don't want to be on the dragon set on the last phase with 1 HP because there's a lot of replay for those small little enemies to spawn below you. But ends up defeating the dragon here without a death.
And he's gonna be going into Bowser's now. Source, yeah, he's okay. So yeah, Ruined, you just have to defeat the boss. You get a multi-moon, you only need 3 moons to leave the kingdom.
But yeah, Acrid is going to be heading into Bowser's Kingdom, one of the hardest kingdoms, especially when it comes to runners that pick up the game. It doesn't have, it's the longest kingdom in terms of the timer, like how much time you spend in it. But it probably has the least amount of gameplay from like the main big kingdoms, because all you really do is there's 3 main sections. And then there's the boss fight. But in those 3 main sections, you spend easily 2 minutes watching cutscenes. And the movement, a lot of the movement is no actual movement, but instead just Mario flying through the kingdom while being in one of these electrical wire captures.
Yeah, so you have to get you have to get all the story moons in there and two extra moons. The story moons you need to get. I think you need to get all the story moons for the fight to actually trigger. If there was a way of skipping all of the story moons, it wouldn't trigger the fight.
So the thing is, if you, for example, if you skipped the first story moon that Acrid is about to get, he's gonna be destroying one of those ogres. Stairface ogres is what the game calls them. If he wasn't destroying this ogre and wouldn't pick up the moon, the door would not open, which is the one thing. But even if you made it past the door, the pylon that you capture as Mario wouldn't even spawn, so he couldn't even get to the next island, basically.
Yeah.
So you need to pick up all of those quote-unquote slow story moons, and you do need 8 moons in Bowser's to even go to Moon, which is the last kingdom of the game.
So coming up now is Shard. It's quite an interesting movement. A lot of runners have a lot of issues with it. They're very hard. This kingdom is extremely hard.
So Acrid used to call himself a shards-only runner. It's usually probably his most practiced section. Let's see if it goes well this time, because no matter how much you practice, you can still take hits there. What he did there, strat actually came up with himself once again. Usually we see the quote-unquote dive back strat there, but the strat that he does almost doesn't lose time. And Acrid kind of showing why he's a shards-only runner. Definitely clean shards from him.
Yeah, extremely clean shards. And now we'll be able to get the story moon. And there.
Oh, unfortunate, taking damage there, so he's gonna have the damage animation. Next moon coming up here for Acrid is gonna be the moon on top of the roof. I don't know what strats he goes for here. I think he's gonna be going for the quote-unquote Bowser Dram. Wow, that was so quick. That was extremely fast. Oh, he actually ended up not getting it. Usually you wanna make Cappy hover close to the electric pylon there to get back to the pylon after grabbing the moon. And his setup there was super fast. If that would have worked, it would have been extremely clean.
Sadly, I didn't get to see that because I was lagging. But now he's gonna be on to the refight. So Harriet, you might not fight in sand, but it's pretty slow. You have to go through a lot to get to her, and it's not really worth. So this is a refight. She has 2 bombs instead of 1, which we normally have. And he's standing in certain places, so to manipulate her patterns.
Exactly, called Harriet manipulation. It's something that if you actually learn the game, not many people talk about it when doing runs. And I personally learned the game while watching other top runners, but that's something not many people talk about, but it is a thing. You can stand in specific spots there to skip some of Harriet's hops she would do. It is usually a refight once again, but we do not fight her in sand. We try to basically route out any story moons we can. In this kingdom, though, we are required to get them.
So now Toba has a lot more hats. There's no real super advanced strats for this, unlike in Cap.
Definitely clean fight though on Acrid screen right there. Probably as good as it gets. You can speed it up a little bit with some advanced stuff that I even don't know how it exactly works. You can make it so he drops down after 1 cap throw. But so, definitely clean boss fights for Acrid.
So Source going into shards now.
Basically doing similar movement right there. You can just jump from that roof right there, but that backflip works just as well. So he only needs to pick up this shard right here, and then only the shard that's hidden in the block.
So now,
but Acrid is getting close to mech.
Now he got the boxes moon, and now all he needs is the last Molly moon.
Oh no, the save. The section Acrid just went through is usually pretty lag heavy, so we jumped there without the camera actually catching up, which is super scary, especially on good paces. But Acrid not really messing around right there, trying to go for it, but actually maybe dropping an input there, so he fell down. But he saved it very well, so if he died there, this would have been obviously a way bigger punish on him.
Yeah.
And he's
So
heading
he's
into
going
mech.
Yeah, he does some of the most advanced strats on mech. Not sure if he is going for Harriet third, where you hit the Harriet bubble on the third cycle of the mech. I'm pretty sure he's consistent, so he might go for.
I don't know if he actually practiced it. It's a strat that most top runners usually go for. It doesn't have the biggest reward, and it's easy to fall off of mech if you don't really know the perfect setup. But even if you know the setup, sometimes you miss like an input and don't get the hit. So we'll see what he goes for. It currently looks more. It might be Harriet third.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if he's doing the first variation or. Okay, I think
Doesn't
he's
look like the
doing-
target
yeah.
acquired.
So-
Gets it. Got him.
So now
Nice.
Source on the bunnies fight. He refights against Topper and Harriet. And just finishing up Harriet. Yep. I'm actually kind of surprised how close they are.
Yeah, I think Source is still on pretty solid pace. I don't know. I don't know what Bowser split his PB has, and he still needs to fight Mech, which is one of the scarier points in the game, definitely. But yeah, Mech. If he gets Mech, fine. Yeah, he might still be on PB base. I don't know his full splits, obviously, out of my head right now. But just thinking of it right now, there might still be a chance.
I think he doesn't do like the advanced strats like Acrid does. He does more beginner strats.
But if you get the third hit fast, which I don't know if he does it, it's still semi-quick. If you skip the fast third hit, you lose 10 seconds there. We'll see what we're going to be looking at. And also, Acrid also going for those ridiculous fast low hits there.
Yeah.
If you get the spin pawn quick, you might save a little time with them.
Yeah. Yeah, no one really goes for that. It's just kind of a flashy move and a very small time save. So now he'll be going into the final kingdom on the moon, and Source will be getting his boxes mainly. There we go. So now he just has to climb with the Pugio and fight the mech.
Exactly. Mech still being one of the scarier parts being left here. And so is opting to play it a little safe and just jump off of those, off of the platforms there, instead of making that scary jump without the camera being in your favor, basically.
Yes, so now he's gonna be doing Acrid's gonna be vectoring, where you move Mario in the air and gains quite a lot of speed, but because you're on the moon and the gravity is so low, you can gain quite a lot of speed. Oh,
He can save that though.
Okay, so almost fell there. It was fine. And now Source going into the mech fight, where he'll be doing. I'm not sure what strats he's gonna be doing actually. So.
Climb worked out for him there. He said he hasn't gotten to practice the mech fight there, but that first hit was definitely still good.
So he's going for. Okay, so he's gonna wait for the mech to stop moving to the topper, which loses quite a bit of time.
If you wait 3 steps for topper and 5 steps for the next phase, you can just wait for the mech to stand still, which makes the quote-unquote birdless strat, which is the baseline of this fight in speedrunning, a lot easier and definitely safer approach. As we've seen earlier from Acrid, you can basically just instantly snipe those bubbles when they get hittable, but comes with a little scariness.
Okay, so he's waiting the entire phase to hit speed, which is interesting. It makes it quite a bit easier. And now Acrid going on to the Bowser fight. Kind of similar strats to the last Bowser fight.
Wow, that was actually super scary. The mech was with his ears basically facing him. So definitely a little scary right there. But now when I look at the pace, I think there might be a chance that Source can still snag a PB here if he gets a solid moon.
So yeah, Bowser has a few more caps now. it doesn't really change. It doesn't change up the fight much. He just has some useless fire mode he goes into.
Basically. The fire mode, all it does for us, basically, it costs us some time.
Yeah,
But yeah.
It looks like you might get hit by it, but you can just single jump and you can go right through the fire. You won't get damaged as long as you're not on the floor when it goes past you. You're good.
Acrid coming up on the third phase. He hopefully gets the fast head on this one. Looks solid, so he's gonna be punching Bowser a few times and then heading into escape. And Source might still have a chance to BB this one.
So finish him the Bowser fight. Now going capture Bowser. The only really after there isn't too much difficulty in the next stuff he's gonna do. There's a thing called 2D skip, which it isn't that hard, but when you're like at the end of a run and you're on P base, you can like nubs get to you and you fail it and you lose like a minute.
It's just super scary. Every time, like I've been on a pretty good run recently, and when I got there, my heart was pounding. It's not too hard. You need to do 2 jumps, but if you fail them, they are easily unrecoverable, and you'll fall down and lose like pretty much. No matter how insane your run is, you can lose all of your time save to this jump. It saves 2 seconds, which is a lot actually these days, especially as times drop. But it is very late into the run. Acrid looks like he gets it perfectly clean.
Oh, okay. So now we're going on to Pillars turn. Oh, he he did the wall jump.
Wait, did he get it?
Yeah, he did. So that's the first time anyone's ever done a run. It isn't very difficult. It's not very difficult. It's just kind of a meme. It doesn't save any time.
Does it not?
I think
like I think it could potentially save just a tiny bit time if you get it perfectly. It's kind of a meshing thing, and I myself haven't found a setup for it, but it's basically like a World 8 SMB wall jump, like the way it feels. But
I get it. Like I think I get it every time though. I think Acrid told me it doesn't save any time, but I think it would save time for me because I'm slow. But
well, Acrid's gonna be looking probably at a 104 here, ending up this run, which is still pretty insane because obviously the mistakes he made and lost added up to quite a bit. And so he still came very close to his PB. Definitely solid time. So probably ending on some screenshots here, some visual effects. But this is looking to be like a 104.06. Captured. Nice. But now we should all root for Source because I think Source still has a chance of getting a PB here. It might be very close. It might be only a small PB. But even... getting robbed. Currently getting robbed.
So, that's fine. But yeah, Source doing the boss fight again. Doing the same strategies in Cloud. Nothing really special about this fight.
Actually, he did go for the fast head here in the second phase, which I think he didn't go for in Cloud.
I know he didn't go for the first one.
Yeah.
So just doing some spins.
Doing some spins. Heading up to the third phase. Actually taking damage there might not be optimal. Let's see if he can still make it to get the third hit. Oh, that hurts. He might still be able to snack PB if he doesn't die here, which is obviously super scary now. Let's hope he doesn't get hit by any of those heads.
Okay.
Grabs the head. Gets close. Dives and starts hitting. Okay. The PB might still barely be alive, I think. Barely, maybe.
So... he should go for 2D skip. Pretty confidently he does.
He probably needs to actually snack in a little PB. So usually if you play optimal, after capturing Bowser, it takes you 2 minutes to end the game. But that remains super optimal. Currently he has 2 minutes and 10 seconds, but he needs to do most of... He needs to do most of the shreds at the A. He probably needs to do 2D skip, and he probably needs to have a solid pillar room to make it happen.
So coming up to TD skip now. I don't know if he's running with splits, so I don't know if he knows what his time is, but
So losing that third phase on the head there loses you actually like 12 seconds, and he said earlier that he was 10 seconds ahead. His moon, other than that, went pretty nice though, so he definitely, it's pretty much gonna be all about this 2D skip here.
yeah, they got the and yep, he gets it.
Nice.
So
Only
now
pillars
it's just
basically.
pillars, I think. If he gets fast pillars, it'll be a very decent time.
If he gets the fast pillars, it's surely gonna be a PB, but the fast pillars are very hard and you usually need to practice them a lot before getting
Yeah.
them consistently.
We've
Like,
seen-
even the current world record
Yeah.
doesn't get them.
Yeah, we've seen like all top players struggle with the fast pillar. Like no one's like 100% consistent at it.
So chances are still there, I think, but it definitely requires him to get an optimal room right here. Those shots look pretty good. I think he
They
might
were
have
pretty
gotten it
decent
there.
shots.
I think he might have gotten it right there. His PB currently is a 107.57. If he actually got the fast pillar there, his chances are very good of snagging like a 5-second PB, I think.
He didn't seem to get the fast pillar.
Yep.
He could snipe it now. No, he missed 2. Okay.
I think it's only one shot, right? It's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
super close. I think he got it. No, I don't know. Maybe it tied.
I don't think he got it.
It might have. Oh no, that hit too. That might have actually ended it. I'm pretty sure it's like a tie. Damn. Maybe like a second.
He tied it.
He tied it. That's unfortunate. That third phase of bosses. That's still insane though. Like, that's basically what we said about Source. His consistency is super. He literally just tied his PB in the race.
Well, so very decent times from both rounds, especially Acrid hasn't been playing too much. He got a very respectable time, and Source tied his PB, which is a good time for him. And
Welcome, boys. GG's on the race. Let's get to Source immediately. Man, kept it sick until the last second. And no matter, like, even if there's a tie right now, or like a second lost, that's still pretty amazing. Tying your PB in a race is still something you can be proud of, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was that hit at the end. Like, I got hit by one of the rocks on like the few last hits, and that completely ruined it. Otherwise, it would have been a 56.
But yeah, definitely still my respects going for 2D skip, trying to get all of the fast hits in the Bowser fight. Definitely playing to the max there to try to snake in the PB. You'll get it soon. That's visible there.
Yeah.
And definitely still GG's. Acrid. Amazing run up until ramp, is what I would like to say. And then from there, some sloppiness. But up until ramp, you gotta say that was pretty sick.
I think they told me I got like a 13-14 leak or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I don't know, man. I'm super sad, dude. That was I wanted to do stuff, but it just didn't work. And I know I practiced mid game a lot. It didn't work, but see, I did some things for the people, you know, like the spin jumping
Definitely.
Bowser Cloud, the fucking the wall jumping.
The wall jump and escape, the spin
Yeah.
jumps on the fight, some interesting shows that we've never really seen in runs at all. So definitely entertaining stuff. And once again, incredible early game. And definitely, obviously, GG's on the 104. That's still a win. I think. Do you know who you will be facing? Tischel next round, right?
Yeah. I
Probably
think
gonna be-
104 is good for me. I'm very bad at races, to be honest.
I want to ask, what happened in Lost? Did you let go of Y, or did you just not? Did your cap bounce get you?
I don't know. I mean, the only reasonable thing is that I just let go of Y. I just got surprised. I didn't think I just let go of Y, and then I went through a cap. But
Yeah, because you just did a long jump. This couldn't have been like maybe the game lag. I don't know.
No,
Super weird.
it had to be like it just pissed me off a lot. But I think it was fine. After that I started playing very bad. I missed the captures, but I don't know. It's fine, I guess. I took the other two, and
Yeah, for sure. definitely GG, super entertaining race to commentate. And thank you, T, for joining me. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Guys in chat,
Fun
thank you so much for joining today on GSA, on the 80% tournament. A lot of insane races coming up soon. So you should probably follow this channel, follow both runners. And we will be back in 10 minutes, actually, around 10 minutes. And we will be having our showcase for the Wind Waker HD any percent race between the two gods of the game. Linkus is going to be running against Ian Miles, so probably the most hype race you can think of. So definitely stay tuned. Grab a drink, grab some popcorn, and see you guys in a couple minutes.
See ya.